Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Hearts of Iron 4 Equestria at War, playing as the Yale Rectorate in the Griffonian Empire. Should be pretty fun. Alright, so we are finding that our societal divides are pretty bad. Hopefully we find ourselves able to solidify things in the near-ish future. In the meantime, we are going for very significant economic reforms, which is getting rid of some of these really horrible national spirits that are slowing us down. Oh good, construction tech finally finished. Level 1. That's great. I probably should have waited, honestly, for our 100% research time reduction in order to go for things like Construction 2 ahead of time, but honestly, we have so many construction boosts right now, I think we might be more or less okay. Is there anything else I want to research as far as some new equipment? Well, we don't really have the factories to justify any of that anyway, so I'm going to go with probably not. Let's go ahead and get started early on the Construction 2 research speed. There's just not a lot else worth researching if you don't have the production base to actually support any of it. So the faster we're able to build those factories to support some new production, probably the better. Production efficiency cap doesn't strike me as super duper important right now. I guess I will go ahead and research the radio. Continue down some of that electrical engineering stuff. You know, it's important. We have revised banking laws. Excellent. That exponential curve is exactly what I like to see. Look at that. Infinite potential right there. The science of agriculture. Consumer goods reduction is nice. There's also a gold standard to remove mild poverty entirely, which as of right now is costing us what? Construction speed of 5% and some consumer goods and monthly population reduction. All important, but I think it's more important that we grab some extra civilian factories so we actually can continue constructing. But the reduction in consumer goods we've already received has freed up a whole nother factory, which should speed things up quite a bit. So now we have 1 year left before we're able to continue with our next civilian factory. Obviously that speeds up quite a bit once you grab a few more of these things, so I think this is absolutely worthwhile. Still no situation changing for gathering the council. Not going to be able to for at least a little bit longer. I'm guessing this is our fascist option. A battered rock. And that faith is a rock standing tall in the sea. Whether in the calm embrace of summer or the raging tempest of winter, it will never waver, as it is anchored to the earth. For beneath the waves, there is more than meets the eye. Tristan thanked all the griffins for attending and blessed their day in the name of the gods, marking the end of today's service. The temple-goers stood up from their benches and slowly made their way to the exit as the priest himself relaxed his posture, hanging his shoulders as he watched the few faithful leave his temple. The young, gray-feathered priest looked up at the stained glass window above the exit, breaking down the afternoon sun into an array of playful colors. Cyrus Fall's temple to the Trinity did not show any signs of the slow decay happening around its walls. The red rot of socialism had taken root, spreading its venom house by house through the streets of this once noble city. And while Cyrus Fall was the epicenter, it was not the only community straying from the Trinity. Ever since Tristan came here from Bischofheim, he felt it in the air and in the eyes of the griffins he met on the street. This country had no soul, or if it had one, it was clouded in shadow. As the months passed by, fewer and fewer griffins visited the temple, except for the elderly coming in out of habit more than piety. Tristan turned his eyes towards the heavens, a familiar fresco making him turn a slight smile. Yale was not completely lost. The priest quickly prayed a prayer to the prelate in Bruma, whose temple was filled to the brim with students and commoners both. He was not a griffin of compromise, Prelate Michael, as to be expected of the Arcturian priest. In his writings to the priesthood, the prelate often advocated for rooting out the red threat by banning Cyrus Fall University. In Yale's current climate of misguided academic faithlessness, such calls have never been answered by the rectorate's rulers, but many others did listen devotedly. Maybe there was hope yet. The priest cringed at his own thoughts. Faith is a rock, and this long winter it would weather too. Alright, so fascism goes up because apparently fascism and theocracy are always going to be going hand in hand. We found that in Red World. We're finding it here too. That'll be fun. Other decisions, promises of peace. If we wanted to get more stability, this would be an option, but I don't think we really need to do any of this. I think we're more or less okay. So yeah, that was the last event I'm imagining we're going to get as far as improving the popularity of the different parties. Looks like Fascist does have a bit of an advantage going into this. Being the last one that received it, it took some away from everything else that had already gained some popularity, so they're in pretty good shape right now. We're just waiting for an event where the council needs to gather up together. In the meantime, the Griffonian Empire is going down the Archon route. Okay, so You are going down the fascist route, huh? Sure enough, they are. One of the oldest living griffons, Archon Eros VIII, was born when the Empire was at the height of its power. Yeah, okay, this is going to be a difficult empire, and breaking free might be a little on the dangerous side, but we're going to find out. Cannot invest in the capital, already done this. Could go down some infrastructure routes, all that seems fine. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the... I want this, but we need to finish off the science of agriculture. Extra research slots are very, very good. Let's go for the gold standard and eliminate poverty entirely in the country. We do have another factory. I'm going to go for just a little bit of extra bolt-action rifles. Of course, infantry equipment's very important. What do we need for basic infantry divisions? Not a lot of artillery, but a lot of guns, which makes perfect sense. We do want to work those toward 20 combat with divisions if we get the chance, so it may be a little while before we have that option. In the meantime, how are the factions looking? The Reichspacht is right here, so that's the Empire. There's the River Coalition, still doing their pony things. The Carthaginian Pact, Crown of Equestria, and of course the United Ponies Alliance. Changing hegemony, I don't even know why that is a faction. Like, not many people can join it. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, a freaking hegemony. Alright, research slot is available. What do we want next? This is a little bit ahead of time, so we'll ignore that. Let's go for the production efficiency cap, since we should be getting kind of close to said cap. And I like to make sure that we are producing as many guns as is possible. Yeah, I want to get rid of the societal divide. This is really hurting my ability to get extra political power. We're only getting 0.67 per day. That's pretty rough. What just happened? Okay, some people appear to have broken free. A regent has been chosen. After months of squabbling, the factions in Griffonheim have finally chosen a regent. Archon Eros VIII, the highest priest in the hierarchy of Boreas, has come out on top, and now has a firm control over Griffonheim, as well as the clergy. The council was forced to react and pick a side, as rumor had it that Duchess Gabriella Eagleclaw would not let her defeat slide so easily. In Yale, all the rectors were present for an emergency gathering. As Mercusian expected, Gammy and Bruma were two birds of a feather and pleaded for Yale to support the Empire, denouncing Eagleclaw as a heathen noble. Cyrusfall demanded secession, however, naming a long list of alleged imperialist crimes the Empire had committed. Yes, please, tell me more. Tell me more. I want to know more. Imperialist crimes is my bread and butter. Greenback also supported succession, as they hoped to steer Yale away from any conflict. This left the other central universities, Yale, Middenheim, and Greengate. Although Mercusian shared Greengate and Middenheim's loathing for religious authority, the three universities decided that the Archonate, now that it was in control of Griffonheim, was more likely to come out on top. Thus, those three decided to stick with the Empire, meaning a majority of rectors chose for loyalty to Griffonheim. Mercusian sent a letter to Griffonheim the same day to announce to Eros that the Yale Rectorate fully intended on keeping the current arrangement it had with Griffonheim. He hoped the Archons would limit their ambitions and let the Rectorate be, but he feared that the country had to prepare for the worst, even though they had tried to stay loyal. A whole new political branch has been unlocked. Okay, that sounds great. Is there any world tension yet? No? Well, dang it. Industrial concern, electronics concern, all good. I think industry is probably going to be better for us, though. Going for the extra civilian factory construction speed could be good, at least temporarily. Kind of debating whether we want to go for that. Another 15% construction speed, man. Yeah, let's go for it. We're going to go for that as fast as we can. We have lost a few points, it looks like, with this. We are now a satellite, because, of course, we belong to a fascistic empire now. Equestria annexes the Buffalo Chiefdom. Sounds great. Cateran Principality. You look absolutely psychotic. So, yeah, the Empire is more or less falling apart here. The factions should be splitting up quite a bit. The Reichspacht, very, very weak. I really don't want to be stuck under this guy, though. I'm a little concerned that he's going to try to annex me pretty soon. So how do we betray him and take over the Empire so that I can then bring everyone else under our de jure Empire? That's what I want to do. Well, we'll see what happens, but we are currently removing poverty. That seems like a pretty good goal, all things concerned. And with that gold standard done, we move on. Done. Perfect. Thank you. Now we can gather up the council. So let's go for this. It's only going to take 14 days and gets me another 120 political power, which seems pretty good. Mercusian's going to have to make a decision as far as what he wants to do. Looks like the Socialist Republic of Longsword successfully won their war. So these ponies have broken free, and they're going to be doing their thing now. What's going on down here? Some more communist revolutionaries in the Griffon Liberation Army. Okay. Well, that kingdom's going to fall apart pretty soon. Radio tech is done. Excellent. We should probably continue going ahead of time with the dispersed industry, just get as much value out of this as possible. We really don't have many factories to work with, so it doesn't do me a lot of good. Winter Moon Celebration. Wasn't Celestia the sole ruler? Apparently not, because we have Princess Luna and all that stuff, which I know nothing about because I don't really know anything about My Little Pony. Shut up. It's fine. Let's move forward and get our events before we continue down the next route. Macusian's Deliberation. Yet again, the Council of Rectors has met in Yale to discuss the growing internal and external problems. Popular dissent has become an ever more pressing issue, as the old societal attachment to the Empire faded away with the current academic government offering little in a way of legitimacy to Yale. Rector Magnificus Macusian was not a social scientist, nor was he a terribly cunning politician, but he did have a talent for logical arguments and problem solving. He saw three valid approaches. Firstly, funds could be made available to support Gammy and Bruma, two universities which had traditionally received a lot of triarchy funding from Romau and still held strong ties to the clergy. I'm guessing Romau is kind of like Rome? Perhaps their religious connections could appeal to the general populace, but this could come at the price of scientific integrity. Legitimacy through divine sanction. Secondly, he could try and broadly maintain the academic course of Yale, but free more funds for projects that could increase the quality of life in Yale. Legitimacy through results. Thirdly, and perhaps most radically, he could give discretionary funds to the University of Cyrusfall. Socialism had recently won over many states, and according to the academics of this university, many more states would follow soon. Perhaps by empowering this university, they could reach a compromise position to help the proletariat while avoiding violence. Legitimacy through popular will. Ringing a little bell to call attention to himself, Macusian spoke up to announce his decision that we will go down a fascist direction, aligning with the Archon. Done! Alright, that's a thing now. So we can go down Bruma and Gammy. Modify societal divides by improving things so we get a little bit more political power, and the popularity of fascism goes up yet again. Okay, this seems pretty good. Let's go down some industrial research speed, just trying to ramp up some of this a little bit more if we can. Again, since we are currently researching 3 things, shaving off that speed by another 10% seems perfectly good to me. So yeah, that's a thing now. We only have 22.66% popularity. I'm not really sure what they mean like legitimacy by the popular will, when communism is not actually the most popular decision, but okay. The Second Aquilian Revolution. The people of Aquilia are tired of oppression. Ew. So this is happening over here now. The Republic is trying to break free. That seems pretty fun. Should be a bunch of Pegasi, right? No! No, I am incorrect. It is Griffons. For some reason I thought these were ponies, but they're not. Well, the Aquilian Republic will likely win. They are democratic, slightly communistic. They usually win as far as I can tell. Even though they are otherwise completely surrounded. They get the most troops. So, yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. We'll conquer them in good time, I'm sure. Okay, so Bruma and Gammy is about to be done. Looks like a few people have signed a white peace. Perfectly fine. This is going to get me a little bit more, so we should be making like, what, 0.9 political power per day or something like that? Also, recruitable population factor means more pony power. That's certainly helpful. Okay, the Archon's patronage gain another civilian factory. All right. Bruma's social sciences, base stability, or the science of life, monthly population plus 20% through a breeding program. No, we're going to go for the civilian factory to start, because again, the more I can get here, the better. We're a few months away from being able to build our first successful factory. Yikes, this takes forever. Maybe the Aquilian Republic is actually going to struggle here. He's getting kind of dogpiled by a few different people. Not that they have a lot in troops. He should easily win this, but I don't know. For whatever reason, it looks like he's losing some ground. Construction 2 is done. The county of Bronzehill joins the Redwater coalition. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. All right, so we're finishing up over here. As far as electronics, we're still a little bit ahead of time there. I don't really need the fire control system or the radar stations. I could start working on some fighters. And I do like the idea of having that tech, but we don't actually have any production to back that up. So I think we're going to go for the superior firepower doctrine because we know that it's good. And since we don't have a lot else to produce, I'd like to go ahead and get started on the long research items like our doctrine. So the School of Artillery and Engineering is going to have to continue. Sounds good. I like working toward having those really good support companies that give you extra organization. The House of Erie is fighting the House of Erie, or however you say it. It all seem the same to me. Let's go ahead and grab the support weapons tech. Let's just go ahead and start catching up. Not that I expect we're going to be able to do much with our military for a while, but still. The Archon's patronage is done. We could go for Charitas, which gives extra civilian factory construction speed and consumer goods reduction, which seems perfectly fine for me. I don't know, man. I mean, having really good research has been a strong focus for us up to this point, and I think that 19% research speed is actually pretty good at this stage of the game. But having really good research without any production and industry to back that up doesn't generally get you very far. Looks like right on our borders, people are actually going to be fighting each other. How do I get in on some of that action? Hey, by the way, we actually do have some world tension now, so if I can get a little bit of that political power, we can get rid of the civilian economy and go for the early mobilization, which would be great. Heck, if you guys want to generate a little bit more and go to 15%, I would really appreciate going to partial mobilization. Please and thank you. All right, Charitas is done. Plan the Archon's visit. I don't know about that. Base stability, war support, more support for fascism, political power gains, pretty darn good. Replace experence with unity. More war support and recruitable population factor. Or we can go for more consumer goods reduction and start working toward that extra research slot, which I do want. So let's go for that now. Political reforms are good and all, but let's go for this. The Republic is starting to pick it up again. I mean, it looks to me like they got some encirclements. They should be able to win this, right? If I were ruling the Republic, you better believe that we would be running circles around everyone, shouting "Neener, neener, neener," and then stabbing them with a bayonet. Because that's just how I roll. Let's go ahead and put a general in charge. Let's see, do I want this to be more defensive or offensive? For now, let's just go for you. And I'm going to create a fallback line, probably. A fallback line doesn't do me a lot of good. I was trying to think I can encircle this, but no. We don't know who's going to attack us is the thing. Well, in theory, our faction is safe, right? So let's get some borders against the traitors, the Peasants Republic of Griffon Martian. Oh, it's Diff Martian. It's funny you're recognizing like little homages to the real world in this stuff. I find it just tickle my fancy. Let's go ahead and toss on a couple more infantry here. Since we have the experience, get that up to 16 combat width. That is going to cost me a fair bit of my logistics, but we do have some infantry equipment to spare, so I think that's fine. Dispersed industry is done. Okay. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and research the fighter. I may not have the production yet, but I like to have the tech. Modify government. Yes. Can we do this? Yes. Can't go to partial mobilization. Who knows how long it's going to be. Let's just pick that up immediately. And that doesn't do me a whole lot of favors as far as consumer goods yet, but it's still a slight improvement. Changelings claim Alenia. Yep, they do tend to do that. Federated Parishes of Sycamian joins the Concordat of Southern Nations. Something fun going on there. The Changeling Queendom declares war on the Kingdom of Alenia, so now the Stag people are under attack. Yeah, this is basically what we did before. Apparently, as the Changelings, you're not supposed to go down the Civil War route, which is exactly what I did. Ha ha ha, but still. Olenia does not bend. They will eventually, don't you worry. Science of Agriculture is done, which means we can go for that extra research slot. Also could go for some extra pony power, and I mean a lot of it. But for now, no. The research slot strikes me as the most important, and then we continue down the political reform route. Try to get as much support here for fascism as possible. I just want to know how I'm supposed to break free. Can I assassinate the Archon when he comes by for a visit? Is that an option? Or are we ever going to break free? I don't know. I've never played this myself. For all I know, we actually are going to stay a vassal forever, and between us and the Archon, we go conquer the world, and I'm the loyal attack dog. Honestly, I wouldn't be too opposed to that. Could be kind of fun. Could be kind of fun to play as the attack dog who's a vassal and stays that way for a while. But let's be honest, y'all know me. The odds of me sticking with that seem a little on the unlikely side. Let's see. Duchy of Livonia. Okay, so the Republic did actually win. We knew that was going to happen. Consumer goods reduction, support companies, societal divide still needs to go away. We got a little bit to go. Motorized, I would like to know how to do, but I think we'll hold off for now. Could research some other companies. If we want to work on things like field hospitals, supplies, and so on, we need motorized anyway. Let's just go ahead and research it. Things I know I'm going to want to produce once I actually have the factories to back it up. Trade-wise, we are exporting a very small amount of stuff, so I'm not getting a lot of benefit. The successful revolution. With the official capitulation of the latest monarchist supporters, the Aquilian Republic celebrates their victorious revolution. Congratulations. Y'all get to be democratic for a while. It's like watching the American Revolution. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, how strong are some of these people? Not very. The Griffonian Empire is definitely in the strongest position to keep people under control, especially with 2 vassals. They probably should be attacking people if they're smart. All right, we've expanded Yale University. That means we have the extra research slot. We don't need any destroyers or anything. Could start working on tanks, and let's go ahead and research the airbender so I can work toward that eventually. Research speed plus 3%, and remove the agricultural studies with the research effects program, so it's just another 3%. Also unlocks decisions that get us research bonuses. That's fun. I don't know exactly what I would want to do with that, but there you go. What should we do? I guess let's go for some base stability. Stability is good. It gets you extra political power. It reduces consumer goods. It means you have more outputs. You have more equipment to work with. Though at the moment, I think my biggest bottleneck right now is pony power. But we do know already that by simply changing the laws or going for a pretty lucrative national focus option right here, we can get a little bit more. All right, so we have the first round of doctrine done. Let's go for the organization enable delay tactics. Still sitting at 19% research speed, but it's pretty good. I think we do want to go for volunteer-only changes. Queen White Star has triumphed. What is this? Wolfric, the Wittenland's Unicorn Elite in the Riverlands. Ah, something happening with all the ponies over here, huh? Is that you? No, that's River Swirl. Queen White Star, there she is. What a silly-looking thing behind your head. Bruma's Social Sciences is done. We could go for the local ethics and get the political power gain back. War support change in popularity would be fine. I guess let's go for the political power, since that does take time to build up and it is super duper important. The Grand Galloping Gala is back yet again. How are the changelings doing? Oh, pretty darn good. Looks like they finished off the deer people with no issues. So now they can go and conquer the polar bears and the penguins, or the penguins. Oh, look how cute he is. Theo Marmkst. However you're supposed to say that. Penguin warfare. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's what the changelings are going to do. Then they're probably going to either fight the Yaks or going to try to actually start the war against Equestria and the whole Crystal Empire thing. If they're lucky, Stalingrad joins them. If not, well, they may have a slightly harder time, but we'll see. All right, local ethics. Come on. Give me that there political power. I'd like to make a whole 1 per day. Ooh, how incredible. Let's see. I'm going to go for the motivating of the students. Let's get some of that war support up. More mobilization speed so we can finally get more pony power going. Because I'm pretty sure we actually do have a fair bit more we're supposed to get. I don't know. Like, mobilization speed, so it's a thing where I've noticed, I'll change recruitable population, and then over time, it takes a very long time to actually see the results of that, and that's when the mobilization speed comes in. So having this with war support does mean you get your effects of increasing your recruitable population a little bit faster. Not that that's absolutely crucial for me. It's just, you know, a little detail, something worth noting. Do we go for more fighters? Close air support, tactical bombers, heavy fighters, all of that is quite good. I think we go for better fighters just so I have this available. It's going to be a while before I need to worry about Navy, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's something at least. Common cause, more war support, recruitable population, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and plan out the Archon's visit. Just try to get him to come down to Greenback, maybe give me some free goodies. I don't know. You impressed me so much, I shall build 20 million civilian factories in your nation. Oh, thank you so much. You never had to. No, really, I insist. Awesome. I'm going to assassinate you and take over the Empire now. Oh, that's what you want to do. Civil War has ended. It looks to me like the Griffonian revolutionary state has won. Okay. Well done, comrades. I am not joining you. I am sticking down the religious fascistic route here. We are not quite in control yet, but we're getting there. Recruitable population, yes. Let's go for the limited conscription. Try to get a little bit more recruitable population that I can use to field some additional troops. A little bit by a little bit, anyway. Screaming the Barrel, all adults serve, service by requirements. This all seems pretty standard. We'll probably need to go for extensive conscription. Planning the Archon's visit is done. Let's go for the common cause, for the extra recruitable population, and the war support. An invitation for Archon Proteus. The sword and shield movement has been gaining popularity amongst the commoners and intellectuals alike, with a renewed focus on virtues, religion, and military culture. But to ensure their success, the University of Bruma, which recently invited Prelate Michael into their executive board, carefully planned their next step. Many griffins still questioned sword and shield, especially those griffins who were swayed by the false promises of equestrian ideas such as socialism and harmony. There was one griffin, however, who could help shore up support for the cause, even though he was not the greatest fan of public appearances. Archon Proteus, highest in the priesthood of Arcturus and Michael's superior, would remind the Griffins of Yale of their duty to the gods. Bruma University would invite Proteus for a visit to inspect and bless the standard of a new regiment for the student militia. Hopefully, that would entice the Archon, who sometimes acted more like a knight than a priest, to come and support the sword and shield movement. The prelate and university would make sure that this event would be a grand celebration. Send the invitation! Come on, my Archon, head on downtown to Greenback. Be impressed. Rile up the students. I don't know, student militias are renowned for their, I don't know, functionality? Let's see, do we want to go for more artillery upgrades? Don't need that yet. Again, it focuses mostly on getting some extra production capabilities. Let's go ahead and research the ability to make tactical bombers. Bombers, of course, still quite good. Would also like to get things like close air support, but let's just stick with what we've got. So you should have received the invitation by now. Are you coming by to visit, or are you just going to ignore me? Oh gosh, I think he might be ghosting me. No, never mind. The blessing of Arcturus. A huge crowd had gathered in Bruma's Kaiserplatz, the city's central square, but in the middle of the plaza was kept open for the ceremony that was about to start. Firstly, the Archon appeared on the balcony of the city hall to roaring cheers of the crowd. The chivalrous and down-to-earth Proteus was immediately popular with the public, and many traveled for hours just to catch a glimpse of him. Behind him, at a respectable distance, Prelate Michael took his position, smiling at the crowd's adoration for the Archon. Proteus seemed to instantly connect to the griffins present, making them forget everything else. The sound of military drums closing on the square silenced the crowd, and from around the corner, the sword and shield militia marched into the square. They were wearing their gray dress uniform, lined with golden thread, and a gray cap with a white plume supplemented their formal attire. In front of the standard bearer, carrying a gold banner depicting a sword behind a shield, surrounded by a laurel wreath. On the banner it said, Virtus Justitia Arcturus. With the student militia had reached its positions, they formally greeted the Archon, after which the square was silent, waiting for the Archon's speech. Thank you, citizens of Yale, for inviting me on this beautiful day. Your prelate has asked me to say a few words to you, and I will. As you know, Arcturus always had a special place in his heart, for Bruma and your university has produced many wonderful knights and priests. The crowd cheered at the Archon's praise, and he had to gesture them to calm down. However, I have been told that not every griffin in Yale has decided to follow the divine path. Many are confused and lost in these uncertain times, where the world seems small, but the challenges to our well-being loom large. Remember that Arcturus will fight for those in need. I implore you, follow the gods' call and save those who stray too far. Then Yale's future and that of the Empire will be secure. After the Archon was done speaking, he was joined by Prelate Michael, and they chanted a hymn to bless the sword and shield banner. Proteus then spent the rest of the day chatting with soldiers and students and even tested out one of the rifles himself. News of the Archon's speech spread quickly, and many griffins heeded the words of the Proteus. The following week, all temples in Yale were packed to the brim as many griffins returned to Arcturus' protection. Cool, we get some extra opinion from... Wait. Gains friends with the Archon, opinion of Yale Rectorate. I'm guessing the Empire has a greater opinion of us, and we get more popularity of fascism. Sweet. So now we are up to 44%. We officially have a majority, or at least a first-past-the-post majority, which is really all that matters. All right, we have the common cause. Now we get to go for a new council member. That said, if I wanted to go down the science of life route, which would give reduced political power, race-specific technology, another research slot, delve deeper. So which one do we want? Oh, this is interesting. This is exclusive here. We could go for delve deeper. Gammy is dominance. Don't know who that is. would lead to Project Aufrechterhaltung. I don't know. Aufrechterhaltung? Embark on a journey towards a perfect griffin. Maybe the answer lies in the past. And then Project, I don't know what this is. Again, embarking on a project. I have no idea what these are. Okay, so those are things. Then there's Silence, which reduces the popularity of everyone else at the cost of stability, or calm the voices of dissent. Okay. Yale's new position. Remove national spirit societal divides. Gain the Yale prelature. Challenge Griffonheim. Gain the Annex War goal. Or Into the Field. The game will end for you? What? Sorry, Into the Fold. We would just end the game. At peace with the Griffonian Empire, the game ends. Get event, the status of Yale. Why would I commit suicide? No. Redeem the Imperial City. Requires is challenge Griffonheim. If we can do this, factory repair speed and free repair for 180 days. So the question is, do we want to remain a vassal, or do we want to attack and challenge? Obviously, we want to challenge, and I am going to go down the council route with Michael. But, yeah, this is going to be interesting. How the ever-loving heck am I supposed to get enough military support to beat this guy down? He's got way too much. 26 troops compared to my 7, and he's got a vassal with another 11. If we don't get some allies, I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. Maybe we wait for Griffonheim to be in a war with somebody else who actually is giving them a run for their money, and then we backstab. Make a run for Griffonheim and go! I don't know, but like I'm working on my next civilian factory, but that's kind of all that I currently can afford. Well, I say that. It looks like we may have another building slot, so that's good. I really do need to work more on military factories. If we don't produce more, we're not going to get it. There's a justification of war. The Griffonian Empire is justifying on me? Hey! Wait a minute! No! What are you... No! I thought we were supposed to be friends. You just came over and gave this beautiful speech and stuff. And now I'm going to have to fight you. You'll win! Uh-oh. Well, this doesn't seem very good. Okay, maybe we do need to start training up some more griffins now while we still can. I have some pony power, so let's start training as many as I feel like I can and go. Wait, I'm out of pony power. That's all I can afford. Well, crud. That's it? That's all I can afford? We actually can't afford any more. The new council member is done. Great. I'm going to go ahead and go for calming the voices of dissent. No, I'm not. I need to go for anything that's going to give me a military advantage. Let's go for establishing the Yale. And I don't even have enough pony power to make these guys into 20 combat with, but we need to actually spread these guys out. Yeek! What the heck? I may not be able to continue this series. The Griffonian Empire might just murder me outright. That would be very anticlimactic, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Well, we'll come back to Michael's ascension in a little bit. For now, thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.